Hello, everyone, and welcome to another amazing Thursday morning, a Dirty Four in the Bank with me, your host, Claudio Capri. Just before we get on with this morning's episode, do the three things: like, share, and subscribe. The like button is very cold, so show the like button some love. Wrap a blanket around it and tell it good stories. And once you like this, then be the like's best friend. Share and subscribe because today, ladies and gentlemen, we've got an amazing guest. She is a filmmaker from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, because that's where I'm from. That's where this podcast is from. And she's been in a bunch of movies. She's also written and directed films. So she's going to tell you all about it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this and listening to this, so as I said, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to leave comments, please leave comments because it'll help us. And just enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, you may know her. She is Montreal's filmmaker. Let's welcome the amazing Teresa Picciano.
Yay! Oh my God, Claudia, you're amazing.
Stop, you're making me blush. No, actually, no, it's the heat from this light that's in my face. But we're gonna so, ladies and gentlemen, just before we get into today's episode, as I mentioned, leave comments for myself, for Teresa, because it's gonna support us. So let's get into this. Teresa, come stai? How are you?
Oh, Bene. Thank you so much, first of all, Claudio, for having me. I've mentioned this to you before. I think you're one of the most genuine persons I have
Thank
met in this industry, and I congratulate you for all your success. And you know, you're bringing smiles and laughter to people. And today more than ever, we need those smiles,
Oh
and
yeah,
we need to laugh because it's health. It keeps us
yeah.
healthy. It keeps us alive. So keep on doing what you're doing. And
Thank you, thank you.
congrats to you. I applaud
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Thank you very much. It means a lot coming from you. But today is not about me, Teresa. It's going to be about you. So I mentioned that, you're a local filmmaker, writer, director, obviously actress. So, Teresa, let's start with the, typical questions. What got you into filmmaking?
Okay. This question's asked all the time, right? No matter
Hmm.
your
Hmm.
interview, the
Hmm.
journalist, it's one of the typical questions. And, everybody has a dream. Uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
that was one of my passions growing up. But,
Hmm.
being raised in an Italian family, they wanted you to become a lawyer, a doctor,
Hmm.
a policeman, an
Hmm.
accordion player. But, as soon as I mentioned acting, they weren't into it too much. So
Yeah.
I took my life in a different path, and I don't regret anything because I learned a lot. I enjoyed myself. I worked hard, and all that experience, I am using it today
Hmm.
on the business side of this business.
Hmm.
Yeah, I took it, and finally, I had a little health scare in 2009, and I
Hmm.
said to myself, if I don't take my passion and make it happen now,
Hmm.
I'm gonna die. Like I can't. I cannot rest in peace if I don't do what I wanted to do. When I first watched that Betty Davis movie, whatever happened to Baby Jane, that movie was the epitome of what I wanted to do. And so I said, that's it. I quit a well-paying job, very stressful job, but well-paying. And I left it all, and I decided to take my passion and make it happen. And that's where I am today.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, you know what? You mentioned little scare. We always have to have that little scare, right? In order for us to say, you know what, I want to do this, if it's too short, because you're right. You're totally right. But you honestly, you're just fantastic. You're great at what you've done and going to do and do. I don't know if that sounded right, but you know what I mean. But no, but so speaking of doing successful work, there's one film that that stood out to me, and to this day I know I love it. But before we get into it, I want to know, like, well, people here want to know as well, your creative side. Like, how do you come up with words going from from paper to screen? How do you develop those ideas?
Oh my God. Claudio,
Mm-hmm.
when I decided to do this, um, everybody, I think most people know the Cake Boss, right? It's
Uh-huh.
a reality television series
Yes.
about cake making in New York, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
um, that show, it when I retired, that show went big. It went boom.
Mm-hmm.
Not retired. What am
Mm-hmm.
I talking about? When I left that job to make my
Mm-hmm.
passion and make it happen,
Mm-hmm.
um, the Cake Boss was just exploding. And I looked and I said, well, if he can do it, why couldn't I? You
Mm-hmm.
know? And I started getting people together to guide me and help me
Mm-hmm.
with the writing process because I wasn't really a writer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to do so much, but I wasn't there. Finally, got that going and got people to really help me, Helen and Bianca, and I got a few people to
Mm-hmm.
help me. And
Mm-hmm.
then I took it a different route, and practice makes perfect, right? And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then I said, I need to. Someone, there was this girl Tamara when I was doing my first short film. I
Mm-hmm.
asked her to help me write, and she
Mm-hmm.
started like I had the idea. I told her everything I wanted. She started the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "You finish it." I said, "Oh, geez, here I am. I have a short in my hand. I got to finish this thing." And you know what? I did. And I had, another director help me with the wording, etc., Marco. And
Mm-hmm.
so from there, I said, okay, I'm going to write about what I know or what I
Mm-hmm.
want to know or what comes to my dreams, comes to my
Mm-hmm.
mind.
Mm-hmm.
And the words flow. They just flow.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to, one little a quick thing. I have taken this workshop online. It was
Mm-hmm.
a very short, like a week, It was
Okay.
just basics on screenwriting.
Uh-huh.
She had given us this website because
Mm-hmm.
when you write, you have to just write your stories and you write, you write, you write. You cannot look back. You
Yeah.
cannot delete. You
Yeah.
cannot correct. Oh, I
Yeah.
put A-N-N-D. Oh, I got to remove an N. Just write, right? But we
Yeah.
don't do that because, especially me, it takes you forever. So the basics of that is whatever's coming out of your mind, you just
Mm-hmm.
write,
Yeah.
and then when you finish, you go and you correct, right? So there was
Yes.
this website that you would write. You write, 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 write. And if you ever had that moment where you wanted to backspace and correct,
Mm-hmm.
it erased everything you wrote.
Oh.
What?
Oh
I was like,
God.
holy, and so uh, I learned how to write. I learned how to write, whatever came out of my mind. And I'm telling
Mm-hmm.
you, sometimes one scene, I would write three different events of it. And
Yeah.
then I would choose the best one that worked for me and the reality, and it works. For me, it works. It works.
Okay. Okay. Good. 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 Yeah. No, I remember. No, because when I write my short films, and there's one that well, I co-helped with it as well, but my friend and I were like, well, mostly my friend, he kept rewriting and rewriting and rewriting, and I'm like, oh my god, here's the thing: people who are not in the film industry, I don't want to sound like that guy saying, you don't know anything about this industry, but in a way, like people in this industry who are not in this industry, they're like, because they're there to be entertained for like 10 minutes, an hour, three. Like they don't understand the process that goes into having your idea from your mind to your paper, from your paper to the screen. It's just fantastic. And now that you're telling me this and I see the work that you put in, that's fantastic. No, that's like, okay, yeah, no, I see where this is. And no matter the length that you put your work into it, but it's just it's just fantastic. Like, and actually, because when I was in the school, I had a script writing teacher. And he did the same thing. He goes, here, you have to have a 10-page script submitted here, and here's a website. I didn't know how to write a script. I'm like,
Yeah.
but the whole point of doing these classes is you have to give you the tools, and not only that, but to teach you how to write a screenplay. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And then I got a B minus. But point from that is that it's like all right, so this is your idea. This is what you're gonna write. I'm like, well, wait, can I just do this on the side? But then, all this to say is that these tools help us. But if people who are not in the film industry, they see these tools, that would be something. I don't know.
Mm. Claudio, look,
Mhm.
it may sound old school, okay?
Yes.
But
Yes.
today, you've got all these programs and
Mm-hmm.
technologies where
Mm-hmm.
you put int for interior, you put it enter, and it places it for you.
Yeah.
You know it mimics the screenplay all for you. All you got to do is
Yeah.
write something.
Yeah.
You can't ask for better. But I'm telling you, if you really
Mm-hmm.
want to learn and you really want to understand what you're writing,
Yeah.
you need to do it old school. So you need to,
Yeah.
like, I would go on Word. I'd use my Courier number 12, font, and I would center and I would space and
Yeah.
it would
Yeah.
take me forever to get it. And
Mm.
I would put interior space, living room, dot, 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 whatever, I did it the old fashioned way, because doing it that way, you get to understand the page,
Yeah.
you get to understand the
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to go into final draft, I mean, it's a fantastic project, or Celtics,
Yes.
or whatever program, I
Yeah.
mean, and
Art
you're going to
studio.
enter
Yeah.
it does it all for you.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it's like boom, 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 and then you print it out, or I print. I know. I'm telling you, you cannot get rid of paper. It's impossible to get rid of paper. I worked in communications. They were spending thousands and thousands of dollars to put everything in a system. Until today, we're in 2022, they're still using paper. You need a trail,
Oh, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. No, you know what? It's good that you brought up the paper form, like especially for my stand up. Like I write my jokes, I bring this everywhere with me. I
There you
don't,
go.
I hate writing, especially for jokes. Like I hate writing it on laptop because Seinfeld actually said a good idea. He goes, he hates writing his whatever his screenplays or his jokes online because there's always that cursor that says, all right, what's next? All right, what are you gonna write? All right, you finished this idea. All right, let's do this. So to me, like I thought about that. I'm like, wait a minute, that's a really really good method. And even some like my shorts, like I have it in I was about to say copybook, but I come up from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
'90s, so copybook. So yeah, so I have everything in here, and for me it works better. But then people are like, oh no, you need to send it to us by email. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's true, huh? And
Well,
then
but that doesn't matter, because you
yeah,
need to, because that's
yeah,
the new way. That's if you don't have a computer today, or if you don't have one of these, a smartphone,
yeah,
I mean, ain't going
exactly.
anywhere. But
I know, sadly, yeah,
you have your pencil that you can erase, a pen you can
yeah,
scratch out,
yeah,
a notebook like you're having. Once you've done that, and even if you want to do manually, like on Word, and actually do and set, then you put it nicely. It's worth doing it
hmm,
the old way, because
yeah,
I'm telling you, you learn more. That's the way I've learned,
yeah, yeah,
and sometimes I sit there and my mind is, and I just you have to have the right moment, and you
yeah,
gotta prepare your space.
yeah.
You should see sometimes. I remember my dad once saw me and he says, in Italian, "Ma che sta facendo?" Like, what are you doing, right? I had crystals, incense burning. I was trying to set the mood. And I'm telling you, it works. Whatever
Okay,
works for you. Maybe you need some champagne. I don't know. But whatever works for you, set the mood. And if it's just writing by pen, write. And don't get discouraged. Sometimes
no,
you're not going to have I mean, the words are there. You don't even have the character's name yet. Call him Sam, call him Josephine, call her Josephine, whatever. And then you change them as time goes on.
yeah. Yeah, I need to know something. With that, I want to know what your dad thought. Why did you have a crystal near you? That's something that stands out. Out of everything, okay, but I'm like, wait a minute, crystal. Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Well,
know if you have a meaning.
yeah, well, energy work.
Okay.
I believe a lot in energy. There's
Okay.
we have a Patricia Chica here in Montreal. She's a director. She's
Mm-hmm.
got the Chi Energy
Mm-hmm.
workshops. And
Okay.
I remember when she first started, I brought a lot of actors uh, to her classes, because
Okay.
I thought that I really think that energy work is important in your
Absolutely.
personal life and also in acting.
Yeah.
Like there's she just did a film, and it's a feature film. It's now being shown at she screened it at CineQuest, and Montreal Girls. I was in it as well, but very very petite role. Um, she worked. with the all on the chi energy on this movie, and
Mm-hmm.
all the success to her. And I learned a few things about there, and it works. Like, my blue crystals for me help
Mm-hmm.
me. Your
Okay.
chakras, your throat chakra is the color blue.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to speak, you got to think blue. And so I try to explain that to my dad, and then Gabiva drop, he
No,
would.
no, for sure. You know what? You know what? Like our Italian parents and grandparents. You explain this to them, like ma, please, go work, go, and then especially like that's why I want to do like like Sebastian Maniscalco. He's one of my favorite comedians, and one of
Yes,
the jokes
yes,
he goes, "Oh, that like after I've done school, it was really hard for me to go. I'm butchering this, but the point is like, he goes, oh, pa, I want to go find myself. He goes, want to find yourself? You're here in my house. I found you." But but that's like like especially with Italian parents, like they don't understand all this, and they're like, oh, okay, bevi tu un bicchierino di vino, and there we go. It trovato. I'm like, thanks, pa. That's
yes.
that's good. For
Well,
those
my
of you who
yes. Sorry, go ahead.
no. I was gonna say sorry. Like for those who are not Italian, that's like, most Italians don't believe in these old school Italians don't believe in these energies. So
But
yeah.
you know how I explained it to him? I says, "Pa, it's like having a rosary bead or the statue of Saint San Giuseppe or the
Mhm,
Virgin
mhm,
Mary." I says exactly
mhm,
the same thing in
mhm,
in another spiritual sense.
mhm,
So he
mhm.
looks at me and he says, "So you need a rosary?" And I go, "No, no, no, no." So like, but I was trying to compare that for him, but it was so funny to see. But he
Yeah,
says, "That's
yeah, yeah,
he's so humble. He's 88 and he goes, okay."
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. You know what? He's probably like, okay, chi sta stupidaggine non capisce niente. Okay, you know what? I'll stick with my wine and alcohol. You stick with your a palla che torna colore and a candela che brucia.
oh my God.
Oh my god, that is the best. That is the best. But
Yeah.
so going to back into your filmmaking thing. So who were your inspirations to become a filmmaker?
You're talking about everyday people or you're talking about like actors?
Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody, whatever comes to your mind.
Yeah. I was mentioning that when I was small, it was Betty Davis. And
Yes.
in 1995 or 96, I think,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Shawshank Redemption movie
Yes.
came out. And I remember when I saw that movie, I said, this movie is going to be remembered for decades. There are films that you see, they're good, but
Yes.
people forget. But Shawshank,
Yes.
it's like The Godfather. I keep on seeing it on
Yes.
television all the time.
Yes.
And I remember seeing that movie, and it wasn't about the acting, it was just the way it was filmed. It
Yes.
was really interesting. And then coming back to what I wanted to do, so I was concentrating on the acting side of
Mm-hmm.
things, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Until we created, I said, the business sometimes is very quiet, right? So you sit there and I'm saying, what am I doing? I'm just sitting here. You could
Mm-hmm.
network, you can go to classes, you can do so much, but I
Yes.
mean, you need to do more than that. And at one point I says, the fear came upon me and I says, what am I going to do? And, like, do I just sit and wait? And I said, no, you got to do it. But how do I do it? Where do I do it? Where do I start? And I
Mm-hmm.
did take classes. I did find out. I did research. But the fear was there until
Mm-hmm.
I said, I gotta put it out there, and I did. I put it out there, and I got that itch, and I think it was seeing so many successful actors out there doing films. I would see people with their phones doing films of
Mm-hmm.
in 24-hour films or 48 hours. And I said, I can do that too, like
Mm-hmm.
give it a try, Terry. Give it a try. And it works. You,
Nice.
you need a good team too. You need good
Yeah.
people around you as well. And I was really fortunate because I had people that believed in the stories, believed in the projects, and worked together, which was great. So
Mhm.
we helped each other in different ways, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what, teammates are key to this.
Yeah,
Because without them, you can't in a way move forward. You can
yeah,
have all the dreams, all the ambitions, and all the money, but in a way, you can't do it all on your own. Because if you do it on your own, then you're gonna have a burnout. And nobody should have a burnout. I mean, burnouts happen, but
of
you
course.
shouldn't be having them.
No, exactly.
Yeah, exactly, because that's it. But so Teresa, in when you're doing your own films, right? Do you see yourself being more as the actress, the writer, or the director? And well, I mean, producer amongst all of them. But
Yeah.
where do you see yourself in these three categories more? Like, where do you picture yourself being consistent and strong in more writing, directing, or acting?
Yeah. Claudio, I've never directed. And in the back, yeah, I kind of directed somehow, but I didn't direct. Okay,
Okay.
everything, and that's something that I want to do.
Okay.
I because I could see myself as a director. I think
Mhm.
I have
Mhm.
the knowledge today to be able to direct, right? Because it takes a
Mhm.
special skill to direct. You can't just direct like that. If you want something
Mhm.
of quality, I'm not the best out there, but I think I learned from the best,
Mhm.
and I'd love to work with someone, even if I'm an assistant director, maybe, but I'd like to do that. But when I do a film, I like the full scope production of things. The only thing is that what I don't like, but unfortunately, right now that's where I stand. I don't like the administrative side of things. Like
Okay.
I don't like the call sheets, and I don't like figuring things out. Like I like others to do that, but I like to be like I like to see everything.
Mhm.
If there's any, I have a good eye, so sometimes if I see misses or something, or something that needs to be added or removed.
Mhm. Mhm.
I want to
Mhm.
do the whole production. I like taking care of everything.
Okay. Okay.
But I need others. Yeah, Claudio.
Mhm.
There's When I started the business, I took this
Mhm.
class, and one of the sayings that was there, it remained in me for since 2010, and it always said it's this guy that owned a store, and his store was so successful, and he said people would ask him why is it so successful, and he always said, "I have a sign on my wall, and people when they walk in, this is what they see," and it had his picture and the picture of his employees, and it said, "I may run my business, but my employees keep it running." It always stayed with me. And the same thing with me is like, you need a team to do all this so
Yeah.
that your film can continue and can be produced and can be sent, etc.
Yeah.
So for me, that's really important. But the passion in the heart
Mhm.
is being that character, being on screen,
Mhm.
sharing that moment with another character and making stories,
Okay.
creating life. Look, I talk about it and I get so like, woo. I mean,
It's okay.
yeah, that's my number one. And I know, like it's not like theater, where on film, you do a scene that makes everybody cry. But when you film it,
Yeah.
that so many cuts, and
Yeah.
you have to cry instantaneously and things,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of hidden things behind it. But you still need to get into character. You still need to
Absolutely.
be that character, no matter how many
Yes.
cuts and turns,
Yeah.
and creating that moment.
Mhm.
It's the best gift anybody can have.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you're writing it, like when you're seeing your work being produced
Yeah,
on camera, you're like, oh my God, can't believe what I wrote and now it's on screen. Myself or my team, this is what we're creating. This moment right here is what I came up with in my head. And I'm telling you, and you could agree with this, even people who are, watching this, like, you could agree that this is something phenomenal.
yeah,
This is something that you're gonna remember for the rest of your life. I
oh my
I
God.
hope, or maybe I'm going too far. I don't know.
You know, Claudio, I just
Mm,
got back from Italy, and
yes.
in Italy, I did the screening of
Mhm.
my last short film, Seamless Journey.
Yes. For sure.
And after the screening, people came to me. There were a couple of tourists that were there. I had friends from that I hadn't seen since my last job, and they were happened to be in Italy. They drove 2 hours to come and see the screening. They came a party of six, and two of the persons were from Belgium, and they came up to me, and
Mhm.
the man was speaking, and he says, "Oh my God, your film just reminded me of all the stories that my father used to tell me of what they lived in those days, when the
Yeah.
Italians migrated to Belgium or to Canada or to the US.
Yes.
It wasn't it was so like all that stress, all those hours that I put into the writing, all the filming, it was worth every second just to see the reactions and to have comments like this man from Belgium.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. It's a gift
It
in
is.
itself.
It is. It is. Yeah. No, but the best parts about moments about this is when you're watching the film with people and they come up to you and say beautiful things. Because I was there when you premiered Seamless Journey at
Oh,
Casa
there you go.
Italia.
Yes.
Yes, that was honestly that was a fantastic film.
Oh,
Short and it was succinct. It was to the point, and it was just wow. It was it was just beautiful, obviously journey, no pun intended, but it was a journey about how life, like for me it hit home because it's how life is of now versus when Italians immigrated to Canada. But one scene that I do like, and I believe I mentioned this to you or not, but the one scene that I loved was the melting pot at the factory and the break room,
yes,
when you
yes,
had different ethnicities at lunchtime,
yes.
just sharing food comments. That was just, to me, that was just like, I've experienced this when I had other jobs, but to me it hit home because I'm like, this is what the melting pot of Canada, well, North America
Mhm.
is, and you done it extremely well. And I'm like, like, it left me like, I almost wanted to cry, but I didn't. But
Oh, thank you.
no problem, no problem. You're welcome. But it was, if you haven't seen Seamless Journey, you should. But just really quick, Teresa, is that available on where is Seamless Journey available on, so people could
It's
go
not
and.
available right now. It was
Okay.
like during Italian Week, Ital
Yes.
Fest. We did show it at Leonardo da Vinci. We showed
Yes.
Seamless Journey and Maiden Day, the previous
Okay.
short.
Yes.
So that was available, and it was
Mhm.
full house. I received a message from Josie Varillo from Ital Fest
Mhm.
saying that
Mhm.
we filled it up. So that was great. I was in
Beautiful.
Italy, but I got to see a little video because Biagio Farina, who was one of the accordion players, and we used his song as well for the movie.
Okay.
He kind of replaced me at LDV. So it was shown over there, but it will be on YouTube, but not right now because I have about another quite a few festivals. Today we won.
Okay.
Well, we won.
Nice.
We reached semifinalists for the Vancouver, and well,
Congratulations.
thank you. Well, no September 25th if we
Okay.
won, but at least
Good.
we're semifinalists, which is great.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, that's great. That's great. And dreams can only get bigger from here.
Yes.
But honestly, congratulations from the bottom of my heart. It's truly a great film, and when it comes out on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, take the time to see this film. It's really, I can't describe what it is. It's just something that you have to see with your own eyes about this seamless journey. I don't know if I'm just butchering it, but it's beautiful.
It is.
It
Maybe
really
if
is.
they want to go see maybe the Facebook page or the Instagram page, they can like it because
Yeah.
I'll keep posting all the updates. They can see the trailer at least.
Yes,
on,
yes, yes, yes. Links,
and
links are here available here at the bottom, ladies and gentlemen, so you could check it out. And then obviously, when Seamless Journey does is allowed to go on YouTube, just go and watch that. And also, Mate and Date. I that's something that's really you know what? I'm gonna say it's amazing. Again, I have no words. I have no words for that. But it's how did you now I want to talk a little bit about Maiden Date. So how did you again come up with this with that story, Teresa?
yeah, Maiden Date. Yeah, Claudia, I try to make
Yes,
movies about women because
yes.
there's so many, so many movies. It always surrounds itself by men, 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 and there's not a lot of women filmmakers are starting,
Hmm.
which is amazing, but there's not
Hmm.
many films about women, and they're starting
Hmm.
to. So
Hmm.
I try to do my share of it, right? So when
Hmm.
we're talking about Maiden Date, it's it, seniors. We hear about everybody dating, and all these people are in their 60s, 70s, and all of a sudden they're not dating anymore because they think they're old, and then
Hmm.
all of a sudden, like, they're 65, and then all of a sudden their husbands pass away or their wives pass away, and then they're all of a sudden they're like 79, 80. They're like they have no more life, like,
Hmm.
I couldn't understand that, and I'm kind of in that situation myself, but it's not because I don't want to. It's just because there's so many. I'm so busy, like finding
Hmm.
time for a relationship. But I saw different people, and one of my friend's mom, Minnie, which the film is dedicated to her. Let her
Hmm.
rest in peace, Minnie. Um, I remember when her husband passed away, life ended, and then her friends, all their husbands passed away, and they would meet once a week. They would have a game of bridge or cards, whatever
Game
they
of
were.
Thrones.
Yeah. And they're all women's, like in their 70s and
Uh-huh.
80s. And I would always say to Minnie, Minnie, I know, you love, your husband so much, but, did you ever think of maybe, finding someone else? Oh, no, 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 I can never do that. And it's too late now, maybe before, but it's too late now. So, and she always says, oh, I'd love to be in one of your movies one day. And then I had an idea, and I says, you know what? Maybe I should do a film on women filmmakers,
Hmm.
seniors dating. And
Hmm.
then they passed away, and I
Hmm.
said, "Oh my God!" I said, I gotta do this movie now." So
Uh-huh.
I did it, and I did it up, and I had a little twist at the end, and kind of made it today's. Vision.
Yeah.
And it worked. It worked. I mean, we got what? We won 16 awards, got
Beautiful.
35 selections.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we did pretty good on it, and that should be going live soon. I'm probably by this late fall. I'm going to put it live so everybody can see it. And
Beautiful. Beautiful.
yeah,
Beautiful.
turned out,
Is
and I
that
filmed it in Minnie's home
okay? Awesome. Okay.
during
Awesome.
COVID.
That's even more awesome. You know what? That's I know during COVID. I know that's when you know what that. It's funny. Well, not funny. It's interesting that you brought up the COVID point. Because from now what you're telling me this is like this is all happening during the pandemic. I find for us artists that's when the pandemic is like okay. You know what? There's lockdowns. This is the time for us to do something that we have a hard time doing and we did it. And the fact that your film came out during, no, sorry, it was filmed during the pandemic. It's even
Yeah,
more, it's more reasons to see this, But no, but people should check that out as well. Maiden Date. It's something. It's something. It's an emotional
thank
ride.
you. Yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, are there any other genres that you want to get out? Well, I wouldn't say comfort zone, but any other genres that you want to tackle? They say, I want to try doing this or that. Let's see how it goes. Even though you have very little knowledge of it.
Yeah, there is one. I have it on the back, but it's written.
Hmm.
Been written for a couple of years, and every time I
Okay.
want to film it, COVID wouldn't permit it. And
Mm.
there's a lot of locations. So it would need a little bit of refining to,
Mhm.
sometimes you know what, Claudio, you write without thinking
Yeah.
about the filming process,
Yeah.
you know? So sometimes you say, yeah, 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 I want 6 scenes. Yeah, yeah, but it doesn't work like that.
No.
You have to book 6 different days. You have to
Yep.
get 6 different locations. You need to have 6 different, there's a lot, catering, everything. There's a lot involved, right? So I was a bit of ambitious with this one, but it's something a little bit a little Star Trekky, a little bit uh, not Harry Potter, but a little bit
Mhm.
magical.
Okay.
Something that's a little bit different than what I've
Okay.
done before. It
Okay.
doesn't. It's not something relating to times of today or
Okay.
actual facts. So this
Okay.
is that would be something for me to tackle. And I
Okay.
love drama. Like I love crime. I love drama. I love CSI. I love things like that. I
Okay.
thrive on it. I love it.
Nice.
And
Nice.
I had an experience on a comedy film that I didn't direct it or write it. It's a French film. I wasn't in it during COVID, and it was shown. It was selected at the Yes Montreal Film Festival
Yes. Yeah.
last week, and
Yes.
I was nominated for Best Actress. It was selected for
I
Best
saw.
International Comedy and everything, and the audience was on the floor, like laughing and laughing. It was like I was sitting in the front because I was also presenting the awards with the programmer. And I'm sitting there watching the movie and I'm seeing myself on it and I'm saying, you know what? It's actually funny. Like I was like, and everybody was laughing. It felt so good. So I think I'd be ready for a big, like a solid comedy.
Nice. Nice.
And
Nice. Yeah.
it has to be a comedy. It has to be
Yeah.
odd couple, kind of thing. It has to be a
Nice.
Laverne and Shirley type of thing. It's got a old time comedy. Carol
Yeah. Yeah.
Burnett,
There you go.
like
Yes. Yeah, no, you can't go wrong with those ones. But yeah, no, okay, cool. So comedy, okay, so that would be something in in your forte. Would you write one or would you act in one, if that's your next project?
you know what? Maybe if somebody would write one and it worked
Uh
for
huh.
me, fine. But maybe
Okay.
I would write one. Maybe I would
Okay.
I would attempt,
Okay.
and see how far I can get with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Challenge,
Interesting.
challenge.
Yeah, no, all these challenges are are really good. Hey, you know what? It for me, I find getting these kind of challenges helps us move forward. It makes us evolve not only in the industry but as human beings as well.
Yeah.
It just is something like something that we could be good at. Because for me, like if I'm always in my comfort zone, I'm not gonna evolve. I'm not gonna be who I want to be. That. But hey, you know what? We gotta evolve. But you know, there is something that you brought up. And this is before we did this. You mentioned something really important as well, and that's always uh thinking. You think with your guts. That's no,
Yeah.
with your brain. Yeah, with your brain. Yes, so think with your brain. Right? I'm
Yeah.
getting it
Don't
mixed up.
think with your heart. I'm telling
There we
you.
go.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta this this industry in Montreal
Hmm. Hmm.
especially,
Hmm.
we try to grab everything that we can, and there's not
Hmm.
enough work for everyone.
Hmm.
Because there's not enough work, and because of the language situation, and
Hmm.
we have accents. Like, what are accents today? Everybody has an accent.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want to hire a Latino to speak English, but they don't want the accent.
Yeah.
They want an Italian that, like, with the hey, hey. But nowadays, the Italians don't have that anymore. They don't even
No.
know how to speak Italian. So
Yeah.
um, it's rough here. It's rough, and there's not enough
Yes.
work. So anytime you get some kind of a job, some kind of a work, like you say thank you, thank you, thank you, you know. But then you can't just sit there and wait for these things to come to you. You know, sometimes I hear people saying, "Oh my God, you know, they're not calling me." Yeah, okay, but they're not calling you like they're not calling your neighbor. They're not calling your peer. You know, you got to do as much as you can do, and take care of you, work on you, and if there's nothing there, you got to create your own work, right?
Yeah.
But this industry is not an easy industry,
No.
but it's a passionate industry. And sometimes
Yes.
with passion, you know, you get hurt, you
Yeah.
know.
Big time.
So you need to be humble. You know, ego is not your amigo, as Tom Todoroff would say. You know,
Yes.
ego is not your amigo. I'll never forget when he said that. You know, you got to let your ego out. You got to do your thing and be proud of who you are. And you got to trust your instincts. Go with your gut. If your gut is telling you that it's time to write something, fear kicks in. Well,
Hmm.
let it go. Nobody's going to
Yeah.
see that you're scared. Lock
Nobody.
yourself in the room, you know, and tremble if you have to. Write what you have to write, and
Yeah.
don't show it to anybody. And try to find someone that you do trust to show it to,
Yeah.
and you know, and be able to take criticism. But
Yes.
go with your guts and don't let others influence. I know I got hurt a little bit a couple
Mhm.
of times, so don't trust your gut.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? Getting hurt is very common in this industry as well, right? Because if it's not like if you're not saying, "Oh, your work is bad," then it's gonna criticize on you, and then from there, like that's why like, I also know a lot of people in the industry, and I'm sure you know a lot of people as well in the industry. You know, they did what you said, but then after that, you know, the negative got to them. They're like, "Oh my God, this person's right," or you know like I don't see myself doing this because that one person said it. Like for example, you know, one of my people here on the Dirty Four, Victoria Blair, you know, she's an amazing person, and she quit comedy, she quit podcast because she wasn't dealing well with the stress of hey of booking. And she was always having that thing in the back of her mind. Oh my God, am I not being funny? Am I not being funny? She was just starting out, but and then I've been telling her many times, and other people like Victoria many times, like, hey, you know what? You're just starting out. You're gonna get there. And there are a lot of successful filmmakers that I know that they quit as well because they couldn't take these criticism, and it's sad. It really is sad. But hey, you could talk to them until your face turns blue, or until the I was gonna insert something funny, but I'm like nothing came to me at that moment. But you could talk to them into all you want, and if their mind is set on quitting, and then when they see you doing a certain project and it comes true, then you're like, oh, maybe I wanted to go back, but maybe that'll motivate them. But the fact that you have to quit because of negative response, that to me gets me on my nerves
Yeah.
a little bit, just a little bit.
Well, you just got to do your thing, and yeah, there's all kinds of people. It takes all kinds of people, and you know what?
Hmm.
It's written in books. It's written
Hmm.
everybody
Hmm.
everywhere, and you have to stand there or sit there, and you have to say to yourself, "This person or this situation or this event came into my life to for me to learn what."
Hmm.
What did I learn anything from it? Because people come and go in your lives, and there's reasons for that, right? So once you're able to understand that, I think you're able to move forward. You know, so
Absolutely.
and you got to take like I all these the negatives that arrived. Like I took them, and yeah, at that moment you kind of feel like, oh, you go nuts, right? And it's like, why me? Why no, no, no? Like you feel like you're the victim, but instead, at the end, you're not even the victim. You're
Mm.
not the victim because if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't have learned. And yet, you overcame all those things, and you learned, and look at where you are today. So
Absolutely.
do what you got to do. And that for anybody that's listening out there, if you've got a dream, and as
Exactly.
big as it may be, even if you do one part of it, one little moment of it, you've
Yeah.
already done something that you hadn't or wouldn't have done yesterday. So
True.
you got to do it. You got to do it. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, absolutely. Or else, where you'll regret it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. That's the way I I see it. And hey, you know what? It is what it is. So Teresa, is there anything else you wanna mention? Any upcoming projects that you're that you're gonna be working on or coming out soon? Is there anything you want to mention about that?
Yeah. Well, I did mention like a maiden date will go live soon. So anybody who
Hmm.
wants to see it, seamless journey, not as of yet. Um, Lots of things that I still have to work on and learn on. I am going to do some classes shortly. And there are projects that I am working on, definitely. I've got a few meetings set up. I'd love to work on big projects. I think I want to take a leap, like, like not a Scorsese leap, but I do want to take the next level now. I think
Okay.
it's time, So I'm doing it slow, you know. Time is of the essence, but I'm doing it slow, and
Okay.
let's see where it takes me. And if it takes me where I want, excellent. If it doesn't, hey, I still have other projects or other ideas. And just to go back, last night I was
Yes.
sitting down watching TV, and this
Hmm.
idea for about an 8-minute short popped into my mind with only
Hmm.
two people. And, it probably could be shot in a couple of hours, And like I'm saying, oh, this would be great. And I kind of saw who I wanted in it and everything. And it was a comedy because it has to
Okay.
be a comedy and it has to be
Okay.
well written. So
Yes.
I says, oh, this would be great. So that's something that popped in my mind last night. And that could be something in the near future.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? It's going to be another great one because all the projects that you do, that either you produce, write, and act, produce and write, are great. Even when you act them and they're not part of your project, you're always a treat to watch.
Oh,
So,
so much, Claudio.
oh, no problem, no problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been our interview. This has been Teresa Picciano. I do want to add in something. So Wednesday nights at 10:15 p.m. right after AEW Dynamite Review. It's a wrestling show at 10:15. Jofo in the Ring goes live with Selector Brew, Frank Jofo, Alessandro Deluxe, and I am there occasionally. We talk about the episode of AEW. There's a link at the bottom. Jofo in the Ring podcast. Like, share, and subscribe. And just like this, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, whether you're watching this or listening to this, like, share, and subscribe. The like button is very cold, so give it some love. And please share and subscribe. If you have not followed Teresa Picciano on social medias, go ahead, follow her because she is always a treat. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe here on the Dirty Four. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Dirty Four in the Bank with me, Claudio Capri. Teresa is going to be back. Teresa, grazie, merci for
Grazie
doing
mille.
this.
Mwah.
No, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave a comment, and we will be back here next time for another episode of Dirty Four in the Bank. But Wednesday, check out AEW Dynamite Review at 10:15. It's gonna be an amazing treat, and so is Teresa's film. Stay safe, support each other, support live comedy, support films. Arrivederci.